There was an interesting trend that I saw on X that I actually jumped into a lot. How do you prove that it's you writing a book? When with there's so much AI material flooding the market, even that can be pretending to be you. How do you prove that you are you? And honestly, you just need to get away from the idea that writing your book is a private thing. The easiest way to do this is get Camtasia or some kind of screen recording program and just turn it on when you're typing. Record yourself typing so that people can see that the book is being typed, because that's too much work for an AI guy who's just looking to make a quick buck. He's not going to do that.
I don't think you have to go that far, but this question actually came in from somebody watching the replay of last week's episode, and it is a fundamental question of that goes beyond just AI, because there's a desire to be famous, but also to have privacy. And it's the Harry and Meghan's worldwide privacy tour. It's like you
Had to
can't
bring them up.
you can't have both. You can live a quiet, peaceful, private life, or you can be a famous author. But you can't do both. Sure, there's Daft Punk and they do these big concerts and they wear helmets and nobody knows what they look like, but that is very unusual. And it's very difficult nowadays to have a pen name that actually screens your identity. It's too easy for somebody to figure out who you are, right? An expose on Reddit, that becomes the number one ranking phrase for your name on Google, and now your pen name has stopped working. So the whole like hiding behind a pen name tactic doesn't work. And when it does work and you have no presence on social media, no website, no headshot, you really look like an AI. You don't look
Yes.
human anymore. And so even that tactic never worked well. People want to read books by humans and they want to know who that human is, because who the author is matters. But it doesn't work as well today as it did yesterday, and not nearly as well as it did 20 years ago.
So this is something important that I've learned when teaching martial arts. It's not just what you are teaching that matters, the context and the teacher matters when you're relaying information, because then it can be understood so much more. If you hear a man talk about sexual assault theoretically, but then you listen to a survivor or a therapist speaking about it, the context adds so much more meaning and so much more value to the actual content that is being delivered. So, honestly, being able to provide that context to your readers, to your audience, is going to be a huge moment of human relation, especially at a time where human relation is being diminished by distance. You have social media, yeah, of course, all the AI interactions now, all the bots. There's a lack of trust in any online interaction. So the more you can strengthen that relationship you have with your reader, the more you're going to be able to prove that you are human, and the more people won't believe that this was AI, because they've been sticking with you this whole time. You haven't been trying to pull away from them, and oh no, it's a body double. You know,
And
they
even if you are using AI, they know that it's you who's driving the AI.
right,
It's you who's
right.
prompting it and you who's editing it. It's your will that's behind the AI. There's nothing new under the sun. Aristotle talked about this. You have ethos, pathos, and logos. And we live so there's a certain kind of author who just wants it there to be logos, the logic and the words, and what's written in the book is the only thing that matters. And it's like that's only one leg of the stool.
Yeah.
Pathos is the emotional connection and the emotional resonance of the words, which is separate from the logic and the truth. And ethos is the credibility and authority of the speaker, which is exactly what Jonathan was describing, right? Like you either have ethos or you don't. And an anonymous person cannot have ethos. And there was a time in the Enlightenment where we were really big on logos, and that was kind of all that mattered. And you had some famous anonymous books that were written, but that's very rare. The reason why the Declaration of Independence was so significant when there was many treatises that said those same things at that same time was that the treatises were all written anonymously,
Mm-hmm.
but the Declaration of Independence had signatures at the
Signed.
bottom of famous people, right? John Hancock was the wealthiest person in the colonies. He was the Elon Musk of that time. And when he signed his name at the bottom of the Declaration of Independence, when the British saw that, they opened fire on his fleet and sunk his fleet, and he died in poverty. He went from being wealthy to being poor because he signed that. It meant something. he really did sacrifice. He didn't die in the war, but his wealth died in the war. And you don't see the Hancocks as some wealthy family today because of the hit that they took, because he was willing to pledge his lives, his honor, his life, his fortune, and his sacred honor for the independence of this new nation.
And that worked out for them, okay? So let's be clear about this. This may not be you don't want to jump onto some weird conflicts. Like, there was some weird argument about Meghan Markle posting her dancing while pregnant video. That was a weird argument for people to burn careers over.
Pick your
Okay, so
battles,
don't
people.
sign your name to that one, okay? If you're starting America, okay, sign your name to that one.